What's up guys, Trevor Daw here with Daw Properties. Today I just wanted to make a really quick video about an experience I had with Airbnb. This is the reason I do not use Airbnb anymore as a consumer. Obviously in one of my other videos I explained how it can be great in terms of making a income if you have that extra condo or something along those lines that you're able to rent out. Now, the reason I don't use it individually as a consumer anymore is because I ran into a crazy experience. This was in December. So as some of you might know, I moved out here to Atlanta pretty recently, just a couple months ago, and we went and visited in December to make sure this is where we wanted to go, right? So I had a terrible experience with Airbnb there. The first thing that was terrible about it is the people, the hosts, completely lied about a lot of things. First of all, they definitely weren't allowed to have an Airbnb there. It was a condo unit in Buckhead, and it actually had signs there saying that you can't have Airbnbs and to alert them if you ended up being in an Airbnb there. Now, I didn't double check before we arrived to make sure the building allowed it because I didn't think that people would even do that. But yeah, they weren't allowed to, and I was there for Airbnb, so clearly I didn't want to, have to leave. But then when we got in the unit itself, it was disgusting. It wasn't cleaned at all. It was horrendous, like so gross. Hair and dead bugs, and I mean, the bathroom wasn't clean. Like there's toothpaste stains, and the hair was the worst. I mean, hair in the tub, hair in the sink, hair on the floor. It was just so gross. Nothing was clean. Dust everywhere. So that was the first of all the reason why I don't like Airbnb anymore, is because clearly people are somehow getting away with able to do these things. I mean, first of all, it felt terrible and risky for me to be staying in a place that doesn't allow Airbnb, right? Because then I don't have anywhere to stay. And then once I got in, it was disgusting, which nobody wants to stay somewhere that's disgusting. I don't want to, get some sort of sickness because I stayed at an Airbnb. I mean, and it wasn't a cheap one either, right? Usually the cheapest ones, maybe you might expect that if they're, super impossibly cheap, but this wasn't even the cheapest. It was in a nicer part of town. It was on the cheaper end, but it was in the middle range. It wasn't, like the cheapest you could buy, or rent. And then on top of that, the biggest, thing that really ticked me off is obviously we weren't staying there. So I had arranged to go somewhere else the next day, right? I didn't want to stay there any longer, obviously. I cleaned the entire place at midnight when we arrived. That way we could, sleep and not feel like we're gonna get, swallow a cockroach or something in our sleep. Anyway, yeah, so that was absolute nightmare. And then when I tried to call Airbnb up to get a new space for the next nights on my trip, they wouldn't let me book. Airbnb would not let me book because I was too young, and apparently it was a risk to let someone book the night before if they're too young because they might want to throw a party. Yes, you heard me. They didn't let me book, even though because of them I was in a terrible situation. They wouldn't let me book for the next night because they thought I might throw a party. There's no logic behind that, right? Absolutely none. I mean, I'm married. I was clearly not there to party. Staying multiple nights. I'm not trying to book one night, right? It says right on the Airbnb, you're not allowed to book it for parties. Understandably, right? Now I tried to work with the guy who owned the Airbnb to try and figure out a way for us to still do it, but no matter what we tried, Airbnb would not let it work. I called them, spent 2-3 hours on the phone trying to find something out, and all they did was lead me on false hope. They actually couldn't do anything because I was too young, and they thought I might throw a party. So basically I was left with no other options but to get a hotel room. We tried to find one that had really good reviews so we wouldn't run into the same issue, because clearly we were already very irritated with our experience. So we ended up staying at a Marriott hotel, and it was quite nice, and that was the rest of the trip. But that was a horrendous way to start the trip. I would almost say that Airbnb almost wrecked our opinion on Atlanta. We almost, we probably wouldn't have moved if we couldn't have figured that out, and it would have just turned into a disaster trip, right? So I don't use Airbnb anymore because of these stupid rules that they come up with. I know that maybe they had their reasons for it, but I felt, you know, as a adult that I was being, you know, irrationally limited, and you know, what are they gonna do, make money off of me? Like, it made no sense at all, and it put me in a dangerous situation. So I would like to note that I was calling them, this was all at like, you know, 4 in the morning. I mean, I didn't sleep that night, you know. So yeah, just a little story for you to realize what's out there with Airbnb, things to look out for, making sure that you're actually allowed to stay at the place, making sure that even if the reviews are good, there's always that chance that it's not going to be clean. And then of course realizing that Airbnb might have some irrational rule that will just put you in a bad situation, so do not rely on them, okay? Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. This might be a weird one for Daw Properties, but I figured since a lot of my customers might be coming out here to visit or might need a place to stay, this was just something that might be relevant. You know, if you're coming out here to check out homes, I want you to be aware that there are other options like Verbo. There's other options out there too, but this is what I had with Airbnb. I mean, obviously hotels, maybe just get a hotel, you know? But yeah, leave a message, comment, if you have any questions. And also, if you want to know anything about real estate here in Atlanta, if you want to list your home or you are planning to buy a home, just give me a call and we could talk about what would work best for you. Hopefully you have a great day, and Trevor Daw with Daw Properties. I'll talk to you later.